Okay, this is gonna be the last time I do this. Last time. Last fucking time. Got the audio set just right. This should be fine. Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to Naven Gaming. This is Naven. How's everybody doing? God, I can never do these intros right, even after what is it, the 30th fucking time I've done this? But, anyways, so this is just a little bit of an update on the channel about stuff that's been going on, things going forward among other shit, right? Okay, so let's get right down to it. Lock in. Okay, so I'm sure you've all actually no. Hang on, I need to do first thing first. Okay, so sorry, I'm a little frustrated. The fucking updates on OBS and everything's screwed up my audio settings, so I'm a little bit everywhere right now. I've done this like at least 30 times. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it was literally 30 times because I've done this so many times it's not even funny. But technical difficulties aside, so yeah. Um I wanted to start this off by first saying I'm sorry that I haven't been on recently. I was going to say thank you first, but I'm just going to go ahead and just get this one out of the way. I apologize. I'm sorry I haven't been on for a couple of months. It's been a lot. And I'm going to get into exactly the reasons why I haven't been on, but for the most part, I just want everyone to know that I do apologize for not being on and I haven't been making any videos, and I've also just have been on a complete hiatus for like the longest time, and I don't think there's anything I could say or do to really uh be excuse it or justify it nor what I want to. It's exactly what it is, like I just haven't been on, and there's no excuse for that. I just been so busy with other shit, and well, I wouldn't say busy with other shit, but I have been uh I've been going through a bit. But anyways, yeah, that's all I just want to say on that front. I'm sorry I haven't been on. I'm sorry I haven't been making any videos. I haven't posted anything, and I do apologize for that. Uh but moving on. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Thank you guys so much for liking my videos, commenting on them, and the usual. And I also want to thank you guys for subscribing to the channel, especially now because it's going to help going forward. Since there's 58 of you guys, thank you all so much for having subscribed to the channel and you know being just being interested enough in the channel and the future of the channel as well as me personally to warrant that subscription. It really means a lot, even though I haven't really fucking deserved it so far. But anyways, going to move forward on here. So I'm sure you're all been wondering what's been going on. Like, where have you been? Where have you been? Why have you been on for the past couple of months? Right? Like, what's been new in the life of Naven Gaming? Well, the answer is very, very simple. Not really. It's a little complicated, but it's simple enough to get the gist of. So I'm sure some of you are aware or have been made aware, probably by me, most likely, of course, but like maybe some of you remember, some of you don't, or maybe you're just now coming into the channel, in which case, I mean, it was a fucking interesting time to decide to just fucking hop onto the channel and take a casual look, but that's neither here or there. So the reason why I haven't been on for the past couple of months is because I've been, as you probably could have guessed, if you can recall, if you remember, or if you've even heard me mention it before, but I have been working on programming. I've been getting into programming. I've been taking programming lessons. I've been taking online courses to learn how to program. And I had two reasons for this. I had two reasons to want to program. The biggest one being that I wanted to get a job in programming. Well, sort of. I wanted to get a job and I want to get a better paying job. specifically. And I assumed that being able to program, knowing to code was going to help me do that. And I was just hoping, like I could, do this thing, stick it out for long enough, learn a few languages, and then just kind of move on with my life and it's something that's more stable, right? But the other reason why I did it was because me and a friend of mine were gonna make a game. I'm sure I probably mentioned this a couple of like at least once or twice. I know I've mentioned this in one twice outside of just the programming thing. I know I mentioned that one a lot, but yeah, me and a friend of mine were planning to make a game. It's a colleague of mine from work. I've known him for about a year. Like we up and decided one day to just make a game, and like we just kind of were spitballing ideas for a good while, and one of the biggest the big I wouldn't say it's one of the big I wouldn't say it's the biggest reason, but one of the main reasons why I got into wanting to delve into programming and take your programming lessons was because it was going to help us make the game, right? That was kind of the big purpose and the big one of the big reasons why I decided to do it. And once to make a long story short, the guy is he's a pretty busy guy. Yeah, this friend of mine, like he's got his own life. In fact, he's working even before we decided to do this whole wanting to make a game. Like he was already working two jobs. He was living in an apartment, and he had his life is frankly far more put together than mine. And I mean, I still live with my fucking parents. And like he's got a girlfriend and a few, among other things, right? Like he's got his own thing. He's got his own life to consider. And so when we were talking about making a game, right? Like it was I kind of knew as soon as we started getting a bit more serious about it that eventually someone was going to cave. And it just so happened to turn out that it was him. And I don't want to make it sound like that I'm blaming the guy. I don't want to make it sound like that, like I'm, kind of like, like this is his fault or whatever. But it's like, like life happens, right? And he basically learned from he recently learned that he was gonna be a dad, and congratulations to that guy. He fucking deserves it. He's one of the coolest guys that I know. He's a real one, and he's gonna be a father, and that's a really good reason why he can't do it. And it's also just in general, it's like it's just big fucking props. Most people can't even achieve that these days. I'm one of them. But yeah, so as a result of that, on top of the fact that he's working two fucking jobs among other things, like he can't just willy-nilly throw his time away on something that may or may not pan out into something that's going to be lucrative. So, yeah. I knew this dream of ours to make a game was going to eventually turn into a pipe dream, and if one of us was going to cave. I was assuming that I was going to be the first one to cave because I was starting to lose steam at one point, and it just turned out that, I held on longer and he just happened to, quit a lot faster than me. But yeah, generally speaking, like he just opted out of it. And so any any real reason that I had to stick with it just kind of went with it. Again, not trying to shift the blame or trying to make him like trying to fault him for it. I understand. I get it. And the main issue why I couldn't do the programming thing was because I have a couple of reasons all as well. And and I'm sure I'm talked about this at least a few times on the channel, right? I don't know if you people know this or not, but like I have crippling motivational issues as well as just a severe lack in self-esteem. Like it was bound to happen one way or another. It was just bound to happen. I was gonna probably, like if I didn't find my stride, if it all didn't just click into place, I was probably gonna lose steam on it pretty quickly, And sure enough, I was starting to, but the only thing that kept me going, the only thing that like the one thing that I held on to, that I was able to use for a longest time to kind of cleave to this, to kind of like like to try and keep pushing myself to try and do it, sort of, right? To try and hope that maybe I can, if I just kept going, if I just kept doing it, maybe like I'll start to find a stride. If I just complete this one lesson, it'll all just start to fall into place. It'll make sense. It'll just start to click, right? And as it turns out, like he just, like he's gonna be a dad, so he doesn't have the time to do it, which is fine. And like that, like that's good on him. And like I was starting to lose steam already, and so once I recognized that I was already starting to lose steam, like I probably wasn't gonna be able to do it, and then him just coming out of nowhere and just being like, hey, I don't think I'll be able to do this. I'm about to become a dad. I don't think I'll be able to continue this, but if you want to continue it, all the more power to you. And so naturally, any real reasons to keep holding on to this was just null and void. And so I've decided fairly recently to just end my subscription and just quit, and essentially just abandon the programming thing and just kind of move on from that. So yeah, that's basically been the gist of my life up to that point. But yeah, and ever since then, right? Like I could have done video content in between all that, right? I could have kept continuing doing YouTube. I could have done all this stuff, right? For the past couple of months. So why didn't I do it? Was it because I was informed of this past couple of like a 2 months ago? No, 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 no. I wasn't informed of this 2 months ago. The real reason why I haven't been posting for 2 months is because of specifically just me. It was mostly just me. I was starting to wane, and because of that, I was starting to, like with my self esteem and my motivation, in mind, I was starting to fall into a slump. And after I started falling into a slump, I just, and I was starting to lose faith and lose hope in this venture. I was, faced with the fact that it's already happening. I know exactly where this is going. And once I, and my problem is that once I start thinking once I start, like losing the motivation to do it, I just, it's not, it's not good. It's not bound to continue. So, I just naturally just knew I had already checked out right there and then. And, once I recognized that, I basically fell into a slump and I just got depressed. And so the main reason why I haven't been on for the past couple of months is because I wasn't in the mood to post, and I also just didn't feel at all great to great about anything about myself to want to do it. And so I've basically been spending the past 2 months basically like sulking and essentially licking my own ego for a solid while. So that's the main reason why I haven't been making videos in between that. And the other thing, right, is that what else was I gonna say? Other than the obvious thing, I should probably move on. You know what? I think that's good for now. This has been a pretty solid, uh, like summarization so far. Amazing what a meal can do. So yeah, that's basically been that. So naturally, when I was gonna come back to the channel, I had two decisions, right? I could either look for a new job now that I've quit the programming thing, or I can essentially try to I can either look for a new job, or I can go back to my, or I can try and get a full-time position in my current one. And well, I don't want to get a full-time position with my current one because I fucking, I mean, it's retail. I fucking hate retail. So that so I just decided I was gonna get a new job, but like in between me doing that, finding a new job and among other things, right? I realize, I'm still working in a part-time position. I now have all of this free time with nothing in between to get in the way of making content now, since I just quit my subscription like no less than maybe a few days ago. Like what should I do with that free time? Oh, I should just go back to content creation, See if I can go somewhere with it, see if maybe like it's still worth doing. Like it's if you guys are still interested in me to want to continue to do this. I I don't know, but yeah, that's basically the decision I've decided to make. And so naturally I've returned. I've come back from the dead. From Minecraft, and I am essentially here to just tell you guys to inform you of what the future is gonna look like for the channel. So now that you guys have been updated on what's been going on for the past couple of months, I essentially am going to come back to making content on the channel, officially. And the best way I'm going to do that is that I'm going to shake things up. Since I have all the reason in the world to just, to continue to do this, and I have all the time in the world to do it, I've decided that I'm going to make this my full-time job. And the way I see myself and the way I can see myself making this like an official full-time thing that I can do is that I'm going to essentially make the meme, the unintentional meme for me that I've been making. I'm essentially manifesting destiny, right? And instead of flubbing and saying that I'm insane and making the mistake of saying that I'm making streaming content or that I am a streamer type of guy, I'm actually just gonna full on do it. So from here on out going forward, I'm not just gonna be making videos and content of that nature. I'm also gonna be streaming it. And I already went onto the channel not that long ago, and I got the okay from YouTube to do it. It's all thanks to you guys, by the way. Like, you can't really stream unless you have 50 subscribers, and I just barely passed that goal mark by 8 points of subscribers. So, yeah, again, thank you all again for making this possibility into a reality. And so from, starting here and going forward, I'm just going to be streaming my content. And what is this going to mean for the channel? Well, the obvious things that are obvious is that I can graduate from just doing like 3 hours of recordings, contents daily, or whatever have you, to then just making potentially 6 to 8 hours worth of videos. I also can just I could also just not have to be strict on how I go about doing that either. Like, I don't have to make a series of videos about a particular thing. I don't have to consistently play one singular game. Like, now I could just sit here and shoot the shit with you guys if I so wanted to. Or if you want, we can react to something online and, like, watch a couple of videos and, like, based off of your guys' recommendations, or just something that I think might be interesting, and just go from there. Like, sky's the limits with streaming. But ultimately, I think that the best thing going forward for me will be to just try and... I'm sorry, I'm kind of having to go through my wallpapers to find something that's this works. So, yeah. So yeah, it's a bit... I could do a lot more freeform content than I was able to, essentially. Is basically the gist of what I'm saying. And so with that in mind, you know, I do plan for my first stream to finally start first Berserker Kazan on the channel. You know, like I was planning to do that before I went on that 2-month hiatus, but I am now back and I am ready and more than willing to do it. And I would be happy, more than happy to make that my first official stream. And with that being said, as far as when I'm going to do it, I have decided that I'm going to do it on April 24th on a Thursday at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. EST. And the main reason why I've chosen that particular date is because, well, you know, I can start fresh because, you know, like I'll essentially be not working on that day, and it's the most optimal time where I'll literally be doing nothing. And you know, on top of that, you know, like 2 o'clock seems sound because then that way we can, you know, like at least that way we can discuss a few things if anybody bothers to show up, right? Like we can debate when I can start my streams, like what's more optimal for you guys. Like I could do it in the mornings, evenings, afternoons. Like we could talk about that type of stuff. You don't even have to talk about it there. You could just talk about it, you know, like after the fact. It doesn't matter to me. You know, like I will see the comments. I will get to your recommendations at some points. Just be sure to give them to me in the comments section of that video. Or of this video. You know, like you can let me know right now. I don't fucking care. But yeah, my idea, I can start my stream at the 24th of Thursday, and we can at 2 o'clock, and we can just talk about the future of the channel and get more into that kind of stuff then. And as for until then, yeah, we can then talk about what type of content would be great, you know, like, and this is yeah, and also this is only this can only go so well. This can only go up for the channel, right? Because this way I can actually grow as a person and also grow as a content creator by, you know, essentially having like a reason to start, you know, like having a real, you know, stringent schedule among other things. But on top of that, you know, like it also like it gives me the freedom to basically do whatever the fuck I want to do during that time. And not only that, but you guys can graduate from just being in the foreground of my videos to, you know, like basically like you know, like essentially just like watching and viewing my content, to essentially cheering me on and helping me make the content and being part of the content creation process, right? You know, like you'll graduate from being like you know, like being, you know, like viewers in the foreground to, you know, actually becoming a full-on community, which that I can actually lean into. But yeah, that's it can only go up for the channel from here. And so I guess that's all that needs to be said. So yeah, I hope to see you all then. And I do apologize again for not being on for the past couple of months. And I want to thank you guys for supporting me and helping me achieve this, even if I don't technically deserve it. And other than that, yeah, I'll be sure to, if I have something going on that date on the 24th on that Thursday, I'll certainly let you guys know. I'll make a post on the channel, and I'll let you know when I'm about to stream or if I'm not going to be able to do it or otherwise, right? And so I'll just be sure to notify you guys of when and if I'll be able to do it, and I should be able to do it. So there shouldn't be an excuse not to do it, but, you know, like I said before, life just sort of happens, but my ear. Anyways, so yeah, I'll go ahead and cut it off there. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to see you all on the 24th of April, 2 p.m. EST. And yeah, again, thank you all so much. And see you all then. Bye bye.